Hello and welcome to the presentation. My name is Greg Shirk and I'm the supervisor of the Special Programs Unit with the Bureau of Workforce Partnership and Operation here in Central Office in Harrisburg. I want to welcome you to the presentation and thank you for taking the time to watch. Today we're going to talk about the Work Opportunity Tax Credit Program, and then we'll move on to the Federal Bonding Program. I am the State Bonding Coordinator for Pennsylvania. Okay, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. I'm sure some of you have heard about this program. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to refer to it as WOTC for the rest or the remainder of the program or the presentation, so I don't get a mouthful of the WOTC, Work Opportunity Tax Credit, each time. WOTC is a federal program, and it's a credit available to employers who hire and retain veterans in 5 different groups, target groups, and individuals in certain other target groups, and we will cover those coming up here in a few slides. Some of the program highlights for WOTC. This program saves money for employers. And you ask how? Well, depending on the tax credit amount, it reduces their federal tax liability when they go to file their income tax at the end of the year by that credit amount. And you'll see later on the slide when I show you the amounts, you'll be surprised how much money these employers can save, especially the smaller employers. There's no limit to the number of employees they can submit applications on. Any size employer can benefit. You know, we get a lot of applications from these big box stores, Lowe's, Target, Walmart, Home Depot, and so forth, but small mom and pop shops can benefit. And I'll give you an example. We have Hornung's Family Hardware here on 2nd Street, downtown Harrisburg. Mrs. Hornung, when she found out about the program, she was ecstatic. You know, she brings on 2 to 3 employees, and that's how many people she has working throughout the whole year. So she's very small. They're a very small organization, and they've taken advantage of this for the past 5 years, and they're just tickled pink. I mean, they just love it. Something new that happened about 5-6 years ago: qualified tax-exempt 501c organizations can claim the credit, but there's one caveat: they must hire veterans in order to claim the credit. Now, I told you this savings for employers, it reduces the federal tax liability. Here with the qualified tax-exempt organizations, it reduces their Social Security tax they would pay on each individual they get a credit for. It's a little bit different there. Okay, the WOTC program has a little bit different of a definition for a veteran than most of you vet reps out there in the field have. This is any person who has served on active duty in the United States Armed Forces for at least 181 days. Here's the caveat: training time does not count. So the time they spent at basic training or the time they spent at their school learning their job, that does not count towards the 181 days. Now, the best way for us here in my office to verify that is with a copy of their DD-214. As you know, that shows total time in service, plus it also has a box there where it shows what school they went to and how many weeks they spent in that school. Also basic training and any other school they may have participated in while they were on active duty. Now, you see the or there. Any person who's collecting compensation for a service-connected disability. If they are collecting that compensation for a service-connected disability, that 181 days goes out the window. They could have gone to basic training, gone to their school, get to the unit, injure themselves, and then they're ETS'd out of the service, and they get a rating for a service-connected disability, say they only spent maybe 4 months in. Guess what? As far as WOTCs, they're considered a veteran. Now, the best way for us to determine if they're a service-connected disability veteran would be a copy of the award letter from the Veterans Administration saying that it is a service-connected and the percentage. Veteran target groups. First one, veteran or veteran's family member who receives SNAP benefits for at least a 3-month consecutive period during the 15-month period ending on the hiring date. Now you're probably thinking, what the heck is he talking about, this ending on the hiring date period stuff? Well, what we do is we go by the hire date and we go back 15 months. And the system looks for a 3-month period, a consecutive period within that 15-month period. If the system sees that, the veteran qualifies. Target group number 2, disabled veteran hired within 1 year of discharge from active duty. We have a second disabled veteran category, any disabled veteran unemployed for 6 months or more. Then we have 2 unemployed veteran categories. 1, unemployed for at least 4 weeks up to 6 months, and then an unemployed veteran 6 months or more. Those are the 5 veteran target groups. Non-veteran target groups. We have TANF recipients, long and short, so we have two groups there. SNAP recipient, you have the summer youth, designated community resident, vocational rehabilitation referral, ex-felons, supplemental security income recipients, long-term unemployment recipient. Who's not eligible? Relatives and dependents of the employer. Firm employees. Doesn't matter how long ago they worked for that employer. If they are to rehire, I'm sorry, we just cannot issue a certification. They do not qualify. And any majority owners of the business would also not qualify for WOTC. Okay, the credit amounts for the veterans groups. You'll see there, pretty good sizable amount of money. Look at the disabled veteran, unemployed 6 months, $9,600. Now at the top there, the minimum and maximum, those hours are the minimum hours the veteran needs to work for the employer to get that credit. The hours are calculated within the first year of employment. Now it doesn't go by calendar year, it goes by first year of employment. So let's say an employee starts work in October, November, December, somewhere there, and they may not reach that 400 maximum limit by the end of December for that year's taxes. So what the employer would do is the following year, if he wanted to wait to receive that maximum credit, which I recommend, they would just claim that credit on next year's taxes. That's how it works. Non-veteran credit amounts. You see you have a maximum there for long-term TANF of $9,000. That's calculated over a 2-year period. Then all the other ones, minimum $1,500, maximum $2,400. Now you look at those amounts. Let me go back here one slide. Look at those veteran amounts, how much more they are. That's just amazing, just amazing. And here are the last non-veteran credit amounts. Same thing, $1,500 and $2,400. We have rehabilitation referral, ex-felons, SSI recipients, and long-term unemployment. Tax-exempt organizations, the amount's a little bit different here. Remember, they're claiming against their Social Security tax, not their federal tax liability. And the same applies, 120 hours, 400 for maximum. Okay, employers applying for the credit. They must fill out 2 forms, IRS Form 8850 and an ETA Form 9061. Both of those forms must be submitted. Now you see a highlighted or red in bold 9062. That form can be substituted for the 9061. This is the form that's going to help your veterans get hired. And this is why I recorded this PowerPoint presentation to send out to the vet reps to let you see this form and show you how to fill it out and give it to your veterans so they will help them get hired. So if you give me a minute here, I'd like to pull this form up on the screen, show you in detail everything about it. So if you give me just one moment, please, bear with me. Thank you. Okay, everyone, you should see the ETA Form 9062 up on your screen. And look at the title, Conditional Certification for the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. That's what I was talking to you about. Okay, all the highlighted items are what you need to fill out. Now, along with this presentation also was sent a blank 9062 form, and also this one has the highlighted portions, and also an informational sheet on how to, step-by-step how to fill out both forms, 8850 and the 9061. So for box number 2, you would just put a check mark for State Workforce Agency, that's you. You put your name and address, box 5. 6, you would sign. 7, your telephone number. Date completed right above. Then we get down to the veteran's information. Their last, first, and middle initial, social. Now what I recommend is that you wait until they get hired, have the veteran write a social in at that time. Put their street address in there, city, state, zip, and telephone number. And then in box 12, you want to check off which target group they are. Now, your veteran could qualify for more than one target group. Let's say he might be a veteran receiving SNAPs and also disabled or unemployed veteran. When the application comes in and we get that veteran proof and the wage records are run and we determine if they are unemployed for some amount of time or they did receive SNAP or against Department of Human Services website, our system will issue a certification letter for the highest tax credit that's available for that individual. So that's why if they do qualify for 2, please submit them for 2 or check both those boxes. You can have the applicant sign it, or the veteran could just wait until he gets hired when he writes in his social. That's up to the veteran and you. Now down below, the employer would fill in their information. See, there's not much to do. And then they would take this form with the 8850, the veteran would, take this form with them on interviews, job fairs, anytime he's going to interact with an employer to see if he can get hired. And when they see this conditional certification and the veteran explains to them, hey, you can reduce your federal tax liability, they're going to have a huge advantage over the average guy walking off the street. So that's why I wanted to get this information out to you guys. Now, if you give me a moment, I'm going to bring you back to the presentation. Just bear with me, please. Okay, we're back. Now, you'll see a note there at the bottom of the screen. These forms must be submitted within 28 days. Now, they can, of course, they can mail the forms in, like Mrs. Hornung down there. She'll mail the forms in. Or what we recommend is you submit the employer submit them electronically within CWDS. And those instructions, again, will be attached with this presentation for the employer that you can send out, or you can just have them contact me. Now, when I say within 28 days of the employee's start date, I'll give you an example. If you have a veteran beginning work today, the employer has 28 calendar days, not business days, calendar days, to have those forms postmarked in the mail, or either click the Submit Application button on CWDS at the bottom of the application screen. When they click on that Submit Application button, that will create the postmark date on the application. But again, that 28 days is very, very important, because if it's one day late, the application will be denied, and I cannot overlook that. This is a federal regulation, federal law. It's very important they get it within the 28 days. Where do they find the forms? Well, they can go to CWDS once they log on, click on the help icon symbol at the top right-hand of the screen, and they want to click on List of Miscellaneous Documents. Both forms will be there. There will also be some informational pages and a lot of good information for the employers and also yourselves out there. Take a look and see what you see. Okay, moving on to the federal bonding program. If you didn't know, I am actually the federal bonding coordinator for the state of Pennsylvania. This program's been around for well over 50 years, and it may help some of your veterans out there. Objective of the federal bonding program. This was created as an incentive for employers to hire at-risk job seekers. Now, you're probably wondering who's at risk. Well, I mean, it could be, of course, ex-offenders. That's the majority of the bonds I issue for. It could also be someone who filed bankruptcy. So let's say this veteran maybe wants to go, work for a bank, because that's what he did before he joined the military, and maybe he filed bankruptcy or something. So that could be seen like an at-risk employee for the employer to hire. So he can not only, help the employer by qualifying for a tax credit, but he can also get this federal bond. Anybody recovering from substance, those addicts out there, they can be covered by bond, or dishonorably discharged from the military. Also, any employee due to a promotion will gain increased monetary responsibilities. They are also eligible for a bond. Some of the highlights. This program costs $0 for both the job seeker and employer. Number 2, no paperwork. I do everything. Everything's taken care of here in my office. The bond is issued immediately over the phone. They do not wait. And a big one, no deductible if they would have to make a claim, like your homeowners or car insurance. Now, the federal bond is good for 6 months, and it protects the employer against any theft of money or property from the employer. Restrictions. Of course, they must be a legal working age in PA. They also have to pay federal taxes through payroll deduction. And the job must be longer than 6 months. Can't be a temp job. I'm not going to waste a bond on a job that's 4 months when the bond is good for 6. And of course, self-employed individuals are not eligible. The bond issue process. All the employer would do is need to contact me on the employee's first day of work or first day of promotion. What I do is go online. I fill out the request form there on the website. Usually it takes me 5 minutes. I keep the employer with me on there on the phone. I click the submit button, and guess what? The bond's effective. After I click that submit button, the employer will receive the federal bond in the mail. Along with that package, the bond, of course, will be instructions that they would need to extend it for an additional 6-month period. Now remember, the Commonwealth pays for the first 6 months. The next 6 months, if the employer wished to extend it, would contact a union insurance group. They're the ones that initially issue the bond. Now, I reached out to the union insurance group, and they told me that it is a case-by-case basis on how much an additional 6 months would be. It goes by their job responsibilities of the veteran and also what offenses that veteran had in their past. Now, they also would receive instructions on how to file a claim if the employee or veteran would steal money or property. But I can tell you, within 8-9 years that I've been the state bonding coordinator, I've never had an employer file a claim. Okay, on the screen you'll see my contact information, my phone number, my email address, and also the resource account for tax credits. Please do not hesitate to hand out for information to employers. I'm here to help them. I'm here to help you. You can contact me either way, by phone or by email. I work 7 to 3 every day, just so you know my hours. And please don't hesitate to give my information out. I want to talk to the employers. I love talking to employers, so don't be afraid to give that information out. All right, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. Again, if you have any questions or concerns or comments, please give me a ring or shoot me an email. I want to thank you so much and have a great day.